Okay, welcome back to Global Politics Africa. We're going back to Nigeria. I am Mustafa Janadu in Washington, D.C., and I'm here with Warif, who's in Port Harcourt. So Warif is going to be the one that's going to give us more of a breakdown of what's going on because I'm not in Nigeria now. I was there in Nigeria, and what we're focusing on today is this issue about Christian genocide in Nigeria. Now, we all know that there's a lot of ethnic violence in Nigeria, not just Islamic people killing Christians. They even sometimes maybe
Yeah.
Christians killing Islamic. And we also know that Boko Haram and in the north, they're also killing, whether you're Christian or Muslim, they're killing you. But what we want to focus on today is Nigeria definitely has an ethnic cleansing problem of Christianity. We're not saying bring in Donald Trump. We're not saying that we want to bring him in,
Yeah.
but we want to say that Tinubu is not telling the truth when he says that there's not a problem with Christians being killed by Fulani and also by indigents in the Middle Belt and in the North. And this goes back even to the 1990s where Christians were killing people in the North. And this is where we're going to start. Mr. Wari, if you were living in the North during those periods where they were killing a lot of people in the 90s, can you
Yeah,
tell us where
in
you were living
Kaduna.
and tell us where you were living and what was going on? Yeah. Mm.
Okay, far back then in the I think 1992, I was staying at Malali in Kaduna then. Malali is closer to Angwarimi in Kaduna. I think the whole thing started in the evening, Sunday evening. Actually, it didn't get to my area where I was staying because Malali is more like a reserve area for the reserved government people. Should I say the GRA area? But we
Yeah.
got to hear the news later that day that there was religious crisis in Zango Kataf between Christian and Muslim. And later on, they accused the former retired military officer, Zamani Lequot, of supplying arms to the Christian to fight back against the Muslim. But, you see, Nigeria is a place whereby, like me for once, I stayed in Kaduna State for about 4 years, and I did that's in Rimi College in Kaduna. I did my NYC in Jigawa State in Hadeja. I love the north. I love northern parts of Nigeria. But the only thing that makes me not to stay in the north is because of religious crisis. Because any slightest issue, they turn it into religious crisis. And it's affecting the north. It will not make people to develop. It should allow Nigerians to stay anywhere. If you want to create anything, you don't just, but anything that happens, political, that does not have anything to do with religion, they turn it into religion, killing people. Like, for example, some years ago, something that happened in France, before you know, Muslims in what's it called in Kano State, they started turning it into burning churches. No, Nigeria were peace-loving people, Christian, Muslim. When I was in schooling there, most of my friends were Muslim, and we lived happily. But there are some people that just want to take things into their hand. Even while I was serving in Jigawa State in Hadeja, after passing out from NYC camp, we were just walking around, just trying to go for sightseeing. And we met some guys. They told us that, see, these people, they are loving people, but the only thing is that we shouldn't abuse their religion. We shouldn't joke with their Quran, which we told them that we don't have issue with that. We don't. So these are, and again, one thing these some Muslim guys do is that they know that once you tell their brothers that this person abuses Muhammad, call Muhammad Banza, or tear their Quran or throw the Quran on the floor, they want to go after the person. So that's some of the things they use against people to attack Christians. We should live as one. Let politics be. Let religion be. We shouldn't let whoever God that you are serving, let the God fight for itself. We are human beings. We are not gods. So I think
Yeah.
this killing of Christian or Muslim, whatever, it should, and the federal government need to look into it. They need to look into it. They have to equip the military. They shouldn't just handle things with give kids glove because it's not looking funny at all.
No, it's not funny. And this is the thing. So Nigeria, we know Nigeria has issues. The way the country was formed by the British, and they use religion and they use ethnicity to divide us. And it's a serious problem in the culture of our country in which everybody needs to come together and solve it. But meanwhile, we have a federal government, and the federal government has no excuse to not tackle this. There needs to be security in Nigeria. Nigeria has
Yeah.
oil. We have minerals. So the idea is that the money from our oil and our minerals, before we do anything, politicians before politicians start taking money, sure there's enough money, revenue from Nigerian resources so that every Nigerian is safe. This is what the money is for.
Yeah.
The politicians are
Yeah.
chopping so much money that in certain parts of Nigeria you don't have safety. Right now, if you live in Lagos or Port Harcourt or the big cities, maybe you have a little bit of security. But in the other parts of the country, there's no security. And it's the job of the Nigerian government to make sure there's security. So we have to ask ourselves, where are our minerals and things like that going? You understand what I'm saying? What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are
You
your thoughts?
see,
Oh,
our
okay, go ahead.
politicians need to be wise. Our
Yeah.
politicians, they need to be wise. Don't allow people to use them while your people are suffering. Yeah,
No.
you see, Nigeria is a sovereignty nation. We have to take our stand. Don't allow anybody to intimidate you. What Donald Trump said, that the military guys should be on a standby, they should prepare. If our
Yeah.
governments they do the right thing, you wouldn't hear such type of statement. It's even a shame to the federal government that somebody that is not even in Africa from America will come and tell you what to do. It's just like somebody coming to your house, coming to tell you,
No.
the head of the house, that he's coming to take over your family or coming to make peace in your home. It's a disgrace. So
No.
I think
And this is part of
the
the problem because
politicians,
go ahead.
I think the politicians, they really need to sit down and think and don't play politics with security. Once there
No,
is
no, no.
once there is
And
security,
this is
when
why
you
when people
settle
were saying
security issue,
it's a security issue, and this is why Nigerians, when they told you before, we don't have proof. When they say that the CIA has control of Tinubu, why will you vote in a president that the U.S. has control of? Do you see what I'm saying? Because that means he can control
yeah,
the person you voted in, and that's a security risk to Nigeria.
yeah.
So Kunle is here. So I know Kunle is going to disagree, but Mr. Warif was in the north. You were in the north in the 1990s, right, when you were a young child, and they were coming after
Yeah.
Christians. I think more than 100,000 Christians were killed during that period. Now we know that there's other nuanced issues in Nigeria. It's not just Muslims killing Christians, but there is a problem in certain parts of Nigeria where maybe it's better for you to just say you're Muslim and don't go to church, or your ass will get killed. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that they're not terrorists targeting Christians in Nigeria. There are. What I'm saying is that there are also terrorists targeting Muslims. And actually, Boko
Yeah,
Haram
mosque.
has killed more
Mosque.
Muslims than Christians. They're the most
Yeah,
visible
but
ones.
Kule, here's the question:
The
Are they
Fulani
targeting?
herdsmen.
Kule, here's the question: Are they targeting because they're Muslims, or are they just targeting because it's that area? Because when it's against Christians, it's specifically we're killing you because you are Christian. When they're killing people
Massive,
in the north,
yeah.
Okay,
when they're
okay,
killing people in
okay,
the north,
okay.
they're not killing it because they're Muslims. They're killing it because
Muslims,
they're
yeah.
just terrorists anyway. There's a difference.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes. That's the difference.
the thing is, it's not the reason why I don't quite agree with you is because of the attacks on the mosques. The attacks on the mosques in Adamawa State, in Borno State,
But they were done by
in
Muslims. They
Mubi,
were done by Muslims. So
in
the key is that
no,
they're
no,
not going after.
they're done, but they were specifically targeting
Yeah,
Muslims,
because
is what I'm saying.
yeah, but here's the thing,
Targeting Muslims.
yeah, but they were going for the mosque, okay, but
Yeah, because they're targeting Muslims
but
specifically.
here's what I'm saying. In Nigeria now, if you live in the middle belt, you have to pretend like you're Muslim. Muslims don't have to
Yeah.
pretend like they're Christians in Nigeria.
Plateau State.
Christians have to pretend as if they're Muslims. That's what we're focusing for our show today. The fact that why should I be forced to pretend like I'm a Muslim so I don't get killed? What are your thoughts,
Okay,
Kunal?
yeah, so whether or not you have to pretend, it still does not negate the fact that I made. But yes, there are attacks on Christians, but this detracts from the general security on Nigerians. When we start making it about Christians and Muslims, then we
No, but we
detract
have to
from the
tell the
fact
truth.
that there's
Kunle, we have
general
to tell the truth. But
insecurity in the
The
country.
goal of our
Let me
shows
explain.
But Kunle, hold on. The goal of our shows is just to tell the truth. If I am a
Yes.
Christian and I live in the middle belt, then I'm going to go on TV and say I am getting killed because I am Christian. That's not detracting it. It's me standing up for my rights as a Christian. And then
In that area of Nigeria, yes. But we are talking about the whole of Nigeria. And when
yeah,
you
but we're
talk about
talking
the
about
whole of
that's why we're
Nigeria,
talking about the middle belt and in the north, in which Christians are being bullied.
yes, Christians are being killed in the middle. Christians
Muslims
and
aren't being bullied.
Muslims are being
Muslims
killed
aren't
in
being
the middle
bullied in
belt and in
Anambra.
the north. I'm
Muslims aren't
not
being bullied.
denying that there are terror groups
Muslims aren't being
targeting
bullied.
Muslims.
Muslims
I'm
aren't
not
being bullied.
denying that there are terror.
Okay,
I'm
I'm going
not
to say this, and
denying.
I'm going to let you talk. This is my last statement. Muslims are not being bullied in Christian parts of Nigeria. Now go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that statement because there are terror attacks on Muslims. What you are saying is
In
that they're
Christian
Muslim.
areas,
The
in
point you
Christian
are
parts,
making is different.
in
What you
Christian
are
parts
saying.
of in Christian parts of Nigeria, are Muslims being targeted?
there have been instances of reprisal
it's not a
attacks
genocide. It's not
in
a
the
ethnic
Christian
cleansing.
parts of
All right, go
Nigeria
ahead.
when there have
Okay,
been
go ahead,
attacks
Tony.
in the other areas.
So I'll let you go ahead.
But
I'm going to give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Go ahead. Yeah.
yes, there have been. But what we are detracting from, whether anybody wants to commit an act of terror, be it on Muslims or Christians, they cannot do so if the security apparatus is enforced. There's all sorts of reasons why you might want to kill Christians, Muslims, Jews, ethnic minorities, ethnic violence, whatever it is. The primary reason, and the primary victims are Nigerians. When we get into this rhetoric of it's Christians, it's Muslims, we're not going to solve the problem. The problem starts with there's a general insecurity. There are organized groups causing these attacks. In the Muslim-dominated areas, where there are minority Christian groups, then there are Muslim terrorist groups that seek to target Christian groups in those areas. There are also terrorist groups that target Muslims in other areas. So when we only focus on the targeting of Christians by these terror groups, we are ignoring the greater problem, which is the general insecurity and the actual numbers of people, of Muslims being killed by terrorists is extremely high as well. That's what I'm not trying to say that there are no attacks on Christians or Christians are not living in fear or people have to pretend to be Muslim in order to be safe. That's a culture of an area where you're living as a minority and there's a majority, but most Muslims living amongst you don't want to kill you. You're living in a Muslim majority. It's like if you're in England, yeah, and you have the British National Party with their skinheads.
Well, we got to get a point now. You got about 30
You're
seconds.
not living in fear of general people. So we need to come back to this. The threat that was made by Trump in respect of what he's bringing against Nigeria is insincere because it doesn't approach the real problem, which is general insecurity.
No, we're not even going to talk about Trump. Let me tell you why we're not going to talk about Trump. Even whether what Trump says is insincere or not sincere, he doesn't have the right to attack a sovereign country. Even if Christians are being killed, even if we kill 1 million Christians and say what you can do about it, Trump doesn't have the right to attack. That has to go through the UN. So we don't even need to worry about Trump. That's a separate issue. Trump has no right to come to Nigeria, even if there are human rights abuses, unless he goes through the UN. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, but I agree with the other points you made. Okay, so Mr. Warif.
I didn't disagree. I agreed on that point, though.
Oh, yeah. Then we're moving on to the next thing. So, Mr. Warif, so what's going on here? Talk to us more about how during the Jonathan Goodluck, when they were planning that they were going to bring terrorists on Christians and everything if he didn't step down, but it didn't work out. And then therefore, them inviting Muslim extremists from outside of the country caused a lot of the problems we have today.
Mali and Senegal.
Yeah, tell us about that,
you
Mr.
see,
Warif.
okay, you see, when you invite these guys and you arm them and you don't return, power is sweet. When you test the weapon, you test the gun, you don't want to return it because you know that whoever is with the gun has the power apart from authority. So now the mistake they made, they did not retrieve these things for this guy. They thought maybe Goodluck Jonathan was going to nullify the election then. But Goodluck Jonathan, being a gentleman that he is, he just accepted the what's it called, the results from.
Yes, sorry, can I cut in front of you quickly? Can I cut in front of you? Let me cut in front. He also got intel that that's what they were. He had intel that that's what they were planning to do. So he said that was one of the reasons. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, okay.
So now those people that invited these guys from neighboring African countries, what they would have done, they would have settled them or whatever. They would have allowed them to just flee back, go back to their country, but they allowed them to stay in Nigeria. When there was nothing like political violence or whatever, they started going into kidnapping because they have to look for means. I'm talking of the bandits now, banditry. I'm not talking of Boko Haram. They have to look for means of surviving and maybe terrorizing people from the north, or whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. That's how banditry started. And Boko Haram now, they said Western education is a sin. But to let you know that these people, they are funny, they are cowards. The ammunition they are using, the telecommunication they are using, the bikes, the aeroplane, whatever, all what they are using are made from Western war. They are made from Western education.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the federal government, they really need to be sincere with themselves. Whoever that is in charge or whoever that is behind this Boko Haram issue, they need to look for a way, come together, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian, we are all human beings. Let's come together and see how we can flush these people out of Nigeria because they don't
and
have
I think the problem.
sympathy.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Just imagine if you like in Benue State, Plateau State, Nasarawa State, the way they slaughter human beings. How can a government be burying people using payloader, bulldozer to dig a grave, mass burial? That's an eyesore. So I think and again, what Mr. Kunle said, most of the attacks, sometimes the attack is on mosque. When you attack on a mosque, you have limited people that you can, that will be killed. But when you go to a community and there is random shooting and just shooting anyhow, and you know these people, they know the communities that are dominated by Christians. So when they go there, they don't want to know who you are. They just do random shooting. That's why I said I'm of the opinion that the federal government shouldn't we should keep religion aside. Let's come together and fight these people. Because I believe a true Muslim wouldn't want to kill a Christian, and a true Christian wouldn't want to kill a Muslim. But these guys, they don't have an objective. Nobody knows what they want. Their own is also, I don't know if they want to wipe out the human race or wipe out Christians from the north or whatever. That is one thing the federal government need to look into.
I'm sure that a lot of this is coming from the U.S. and France and countries. A lot of these weapons they get, it comes through Western money and Western aid. And this is why people need to be paying attention, because Kunle said we need security. How can you have security in a country where the leaders don't care about your security? Nigerian leaders are like most politicians are psychopaths. Like in Israel, they don't care if human beings die. They don't even care if Israelis die. Nigerian leaders
care about themselves.
So
one politician will carry how many military guys? Carry military, carry mobile policemen.
Like China.
The biggest problem I have with Nigeria's security is the way I see it. We've done it. AIT has done it. Silverbird has done it. They blame the governors. Now, state governors do not legally have any right or power to own or wield firearms in the interest of the state. That is exclusively the right of the federal government. So nobody has the right to criticize the state government for being unable to provide security, because by law, they cannot have.
But we're talking about the federal government. On this show, we're talking about the federal government.
Mr. Kunle, nobody's blaming the state government. We're talking about the federal government. All blame is to the federal government, not the state government.
Yes, to the federal government. So the federal government are responsible. But the federal government at the same time does not want to decentralize the system so that the state governments can have the means to defend themselves. So the federal government refuses to relinquish this power, but at the same time cannot provide the security. So they're providing double problem here. Okay, if you can't provide the security, then let us solve our problem ourselves. Change the law so that we can arm ourselves. And actually, that's how a federal government is supposed to be.
But the federal government doesn't want to do that.
States has their weapons.
See, my argument is that the federal government doesn't want to do that because they don't want the states to have power. And my argument is that the federal government is also willingly partaking in this violence to profit.
Members of elements of the government are doing so.
But and then you got guys like I don't think Tinubu really wants to do this. But if Tinubu he doesn't have power anymore. So the federal government itself, the ones who aren't in it, they don't have power because whoever's giving these Fulani people weapons and bringing them Côte d'Ivoire, that's why I say it's the U.S. that's doing this, U.S. and France, or rich Nigerians who are more powerful than the federal government. They're the ones, there are rich Nigerians and there are rich foreigners who are profiting off of the violence in Nigeria. And either the federal government is involved or it's too weak. So then the next question is that this is when the people have to rise up. If you look at countries that are now economically doing well, countries like China and Russia, China had a revolution, Russia had the Bolshevik revolution. So nothing will change in Nigeria until there is a movement amongst the people to seize the federal government and take it away from the hands of
Mr. Mustafa. It will be very difficult because
I know. What I'm doing, I'm doing the analysis.
Religion and ethnicity.
I'm not saying it's possible, but I'm saying that's the only solution. I'm not saying I don't think it can happen. I think Nigeria is fucked. But the only solution is when the citizens of Nigeria rise up against a weak government and protect the country away from countries like the US and France. This is what happened in Mali and those places. They had a coup, but the people were behind the coup.
Like what happened in Madagascar, where the army sided with the Gen Z. kids.
if the Gen Z in Nigeria
That
don't
was
shut
quite
down the
funny.
country. If the Gen Z so that's why I'm saying the only way Nigeria would change is when the people themselves get tired of this shit and come together. I don't see it happening because Nigeria
Nigerians,
is
they are
not a
not
natural
tired of
country.
it. They are not
Nigeria
tired
is
of
not a
it
natural
yet.
country. Nigeria should be 3 countries: the
Yeah.
North, the Southwest, and the Southeast.
Even
the Southwest
more
and
than 3, Seth.
Yeah.
About 5 countries.
It should be several. That's why Nigeria is not a natural country, so there can't be. It can't function as
There's
one.
200 different languages in Nigeria. We could
Yeah,
actually
but
have
if
200
you look at
different countries.
But if you look at the Southwest and the Southeast, the Yoruba, the Efik, the people in rivers,
The
look at the people,
Igbo,
all those guys can get together. If those guys were one country, we wouldn't be having these problems because they may be arguing with each other. It'll be like in France or Spain where you have different ethnic groups and they argue. But this violence is coming from the North. The Northerners hate Nigeria.
It's coming through the North because when ISIS were pushed down south,
but let's look at the civil war in Nigeria.
Northern Nigeria and
but the Northerners have been.
ISIS has never attacked Israel.
Okay, but let's go back before ISIS. The North has always been hard on people from the East. That civil war, it was based on British power. Even the way it was set up, pretty power. The northern part of the country has always been oppressing the rest of the country. In Nigeria, they've always, even before terrorism, they've always been doing it, and they think
politicians have, but they've always been the poorest and least educated.
And they're the ones. The Northerners. If you're an Igbo person and you go to Yoruba, they may laugh at you when you're in Lagos, but they'll still be friends. I have pepper soup with Igbo guys. If I go to the North and I tell them, hey, my name is Clement, I'm from the East, they'll kill my ass, man. The northern part of the country is destroying Nigeria, and that's the way the British wanted it. The uneducated part. Okay, last thoughts, Mr. Kunle, then we'll take it to Warif and head out. Yeah.
Well, so it's been when we look at what's going on in Nigeria, the only solution is, in my opinion, to sort out our government and to provide proper security measures in place. It should not be about bringing foreign influences in. We used to manage peace in West Africa. So it's quite unfortunate that our level of mismanagement of government has become so poor that it has allowed foreigners, whether they be terrorists like Boko Haram, or whether they be America or other Western countries that say we are a disgraced nation, to come and mock us and tell us how we should run our business. And this needs to change. And if the government cannot do it, then woe betide the people that they would have to look for a way to seize the government so that they can take control and do it for themselves. But which people do we speak of? Because Nigeria is a mixed bag.
And for them
to unite, they have to see themselves not as Muslims or Christians or ethics, and they have to see themselves as Nigerians. I am a Nigerian. I'm part Yoruba, I'm part Efik, so I have federal character. You know, kind of things
are quite boy song.
Yes, these are kind of things that build Nigeria. You know,
I am Lagosian and New Yorker.
Yeah, and there are people like us, and we are many. We are many and we are growing. And it's those people that will not allow Nigeria to fall. Because I know that the pure Yoruba tribe believe that I'm a mongrel, and I would actually be executed if there was a pure Western Yoruba tribe, because I'm not a pure blood, according to Showare's people, because they fled me before. So I don't want IPOB or this other thing, they're all messed up. It's Nigeria or bust.
If you move to Anambra, would Bakassi boys take you down?
So it's Nigeria or bust. And at the moment, the only solution that I can prefer for the Nigerian people is, if you're not happy with your leaders, vote them out.
You know what we need for peace in Nigeria? For Nigeria to beat Gabon and qualify for the World Cup. All right.
Yeah, sports unites Nigeria.
So guys, last thoughts, Mr. Warif, and take us out. So Warif will take us out today, and last thoughts.
Yeah, okay. You see, one funny thing just came to my mind now. Even these terrorists, I believe they do watch sports. They watch some games and all those things because they are human beings. It's not just about attacking. Sometimes they might just want to relax and enjoy themselves. Yeah. So
I saw before we Arsenal shirt and eating a human hand.
Oh man!
I swear.
You saw what?
Mr. Kule, please.
A cannibal, a guy eating. He boiled a human being and he was eating. He was wearing an Arsenal shirt, but he was
that's
eating like
terrible.
a human being
Was that in
Oh,
Nigeria?
God.
in Nigeria.
Country is sick. That's somebody who's
Okay.
mentally ill. Yeah, take it out.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Mr. Warif? What were you going to say? Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to say that before we leave, the Nigerian politicians, they have to study the life of the military, how to combat terrorism and security. Because once you understand the life of the military guys, how to combat terrorism and insecurity, that means you have to pump in money. But when you don't make security your number one priority, this is what is bound to happen. So with that, we from Mr. Kunle, Mr. Mustafa, and myself, Warifa, we're here. We talked about the federal government looking into insecurity in Nigeria and how to live as one in this country. So please, I would allow Nigerians and other our brothers in other African countries to like our channels, share, and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time. Good night.
You guys, that was a good one. Let me take it off record before I talk.